Welcome to our community garden. Today I'm going to show you a couple different plots. I share this with my neighborhood community. It's about a city block square, and we have about 10 plots, and people are doing all sorts of really interesting things. And in my plot, let me show you. Let's walk over there. In my plot, one might think this is the Chandra Tea experimental plot, but it's not. It's a neighbor. She's doing a fantastic job of growing squash and herbs, rosemary, sage, all different kinds of bee and butterfly friendly plants and flowers, more sage, some French lavender, some purple coneflower coming up. This is our plot. Yes, it looks like weeds, and it's very cottagey, but that's on purpose. This year we employed a permaculture effect, and we've been watching it change over the seasons. And I want to walk you through some of the things that are growing nicely. So this first spot, this tall, weedy spot right in the middle with the stick showing, this was where we had fire ants last year, an enormous fire ant hill, and so I purposely did not dig in there. I didn't want to get them going again this year. So thistles are very common after a fire ant community sort of dies off. They apparently hoard them in their community. So we've got some really nice thistles to support the butterflies, and some milkweed that's coming up that I got from the Nebraska prairies, a coneflower, well, this is a sunflower that's hopefully going to bloom soon, all sorts of wildflowers native to our Texas blackland prairie, and yes, you will recognize quite a few of them, and some of the native grasses too, some buffalo grass. My dog loves to eat that. Here we've got mint around the edges. As I told you, I plant that to keep out the rabbits, and this year it's really working. This red plant is native to Texas. It's amaranth. It's eventually going to get very tall and seed out. You can use the leaves in cooking like a vegetable, or you can use the seeds as a grain. Right next to it, this purple flowering plant with the big silver leaves is borage. Borage is native to Europe. I don't know where it's coming from, although this year I let my plot go a little bit wild, so it might be coming out from something that was previously planted in years past. But borage is actually a medicinal herb. It's got edible flowers that you can use in your salads, and the leaves, let me do a close-up of the leaf, were used in the ancient wines. The Greeks and the Romans both talked about how it made them happy when added to wine, so I found that quite unique, and I'm going to be trying that out and making it available. Some of these other medicinal prairie flowers can be harvested after they give back to the birds and the bees. I don't want to harvest them too early. Planted a little squash. I thought this was watermelon when I put the seeds in, but it's turning into some really nice squash. I'm very fond of fried squash flowers. As you can see, there's a nice one in there. And I'm also fond of yellow squash. This is an herbal, potentially, not quite sure what that is, because it's not growing very fast. I've got some strawberries that are co-locating, and I've got a lonely cabbage. And then if you look inside here, you can see we're even a home to rabbits. So I've greatly enjoyed this, and I'm going to show you this garden periodically because the evolution of what is coming up and what is going back down is fascinating over the past couple of months, and I wish I had been chronicling it the whole time. Got a baby oak tree over there next to the amaranth. Then you can see my neighbors have some traditional peas and beans and red beet, and not sure what they planted over there. It looks like it's about to flower. They've also got squash and loads of mint. Over here they're working on tomatoes. Nice tomato plant starting to come up. And they traditionally do some more East Indian plants like okra and other green amaranth. I'll show you the ornamental fennel, which has done a fantastic job of gathering butterflies this year. Really nice sage coming up. The rosemary's doing really well, and the squash is just taking over, as you can see. And people have all sorts of different ways of expressing their originality, which I just love to look at. This one has a family with small kids, so lots of fun over the past couple of weeks putting in those sticks with the kids. These tomato plants are taking off. All green though, I don't see any fruit yet. Got some nice onions and marigolds going, some beans, beautiful flowers, and maybe some watermelon coming up. Lucky her. And she changes this out every week. She does a bird scarecrow effect, so it's always lots of fun to see what she does. Over here it looks like they've got some carrots coming up, and I don't know, some red chard, some tomatoes, some mint. This one, I don't know what it is. If anyone has a good idea of what that plant is, I would love to hear, because they have just focused on this one plant. Looks like they've got a banana plant going in over there, and some strawberries in the pot. So, thank you for taking this small introductory walk. We'll be checking in periodically as I show you how to make some really lovely herbal teas for the spring and early summer from our regenerative garden.